Hello, Jamie here from Inky and Scrappy, sharing with you today some Grumpy Snark, a card process video. I've actually done a whole bunch of Grumpy Snarky cards. I will just follow one Grumpy. I can't even say it's this Grumpy, but I follow one Grumpy through the card making process. I had stamped four of these on some Bristol Smooth cardstock in some ink on 3 fade out ink for some no line coloring. I'm still working on my no line coloring. It's a fairly new adventure for me, so I'm not perfect at it. I'm still learning. As with anything, it takes time and, practice. So I'm using ink on 3's fade out ink. You can also use Lawn Fawn's jellyfish ink, which I am the proud owner of a contaminated ink pad, because make sure your stamps are clean before you stamp with jellyfish ink. Mine is now more of a medium gray tone instead of a jellyfish gray. Anyways, don't do what Jamie does. Make sure your stamps are clean before you. So I make sure my stamps are clean when I do my ink on 3, because that one is a new ink pad, because obviously I had to replace my other one. The other option would be Tim Holtz's Distress inks. I would guess pumice stone, whatever other light gray there is. Or I have also seen people do it in linen. So the Distress ink, not the oxide, as the Distress should fade into or pick up, blend in a little bit to your image for that no line watercolor look. Otherwise, my favorite way to watercolor is Versum Fine Onyx Black with clear embossing powder over it, and then you have the little wells, and it's just so much easier to just color in the image and go. But I wanted to practice some no-line watercoloring, so that's what I am doing. And so Grumpy here is a larger image. He is from Ink Road Stamps. As of June 14, 2022, he is on restock pre-order, I do believe. So last time he sold out before he even came out of like the pre-order or because he was new. So and then he's not available until she decides to do another restock on him. And so I know restocks are open. I don't know what that entails. I don't know how many. I'm just a lover of Ink Road stamps, so I have no insider knowledge. That's all I know. I mean, I can't even say I have insider knowledge on the stamp I designed for Ink Road Stamps. I just know it's going to be 8 to 10 weeks before I get my grubby little hands on it, and I'm patiently waiting. Patience of a 2-year-old in a candy store waiting. Yes. So anyways, if you want a Grumpy, I would suggest heading over to Ink Road Stamps and making sure you get on that pre-order. Just know and understand that anything you put on with a pre-order will not ship until all pre-order items are in stock. So sometimes it's better to do 2 orders, because then you get the stuff that's in stock right away within 2 weeks, and the other stuff takes up to 2 months. I'm pretty sure Grumpy here was in a big order that I had, and I don't know which stamp was holding them up, but it took me almost 3 months to get Grumpy the first, yeah. So I had a lot of ideas when it came to Grumpy, hence why I stamped him 8 times, and then some. But he's adorable and so worth the wait. So I'm coming in here with some black Jelly Roll pen, and this adds that shine and dimension to the eyes. It just adds so much to the image. I can't even explain it. It just does. So if you haven't tried it, I would highly suggest it. And then I'm just coming in with a black or a dark gray and adding in some eyelashes. You could also do that with a fine liner pen. Would work wonderful for that. And I was playing with color. So for me to color a new image, especially a larger image, I don't worry about lawn fawn images. They're fairly small. But when I'm looking at a larger image like this, it kind of, alcohol inks take a little bit more practice. And so when it's a larger image, it kind of scares me a little bit. And so if I do it in watercolor first, I figure out where I like to have the highlights and the lowlights. And so it does help me in the long run color with my alcohol inks. So if it's something that you struggle with, I highly suggest doing some watercoloring or the medium that you are most comfortable in, and then switching over to one that you're not as comfortable with. It's just, one of those things. So there is one grumpy. I did cut all of them out using my brother's Scan and Cut, which makes it oh so easy to cut out all those images. I die cut a whole bunch of clouds. So this was like a whole series of a lot of images, or a lot of cards. I like to do this one. I'm super busy and super stressed, and I don't have to think too hard about it. I just, get to put stuff together. So I am adding these clouds onto different sized card bases. So I picked some pattern papers for my other ones. I will list the products that I used below for this card, and then on my blog post I will try to list a fuller product description below each picture, if that helps. I am going in with just whatever was on my blending brushes here. It should have, the blue matched my clouds, and the green was like a tealy green that matched the green in that background pattern paper. Just trying to add a little bit of color to it so it wasn't stark white. And the sentiment I am using is from Rhodey's Volume 3 here. And here's a hot tip, one that I need to remember for myself. So by taking an image, sometimes I'll cut my stamps apart, but I didn't want to cut this one apart because it was just going to be a simple, it's in a bubble, so I didn't need to worry about it too much. But the best thing you can do when doing it this way is using Distress Oxide inks. Or Distress Oxide stamp way better than Distress inks. So because Distress Oxides react with water, they clean up with water. And so I didn't have to worry about, once I cleaned this off with water, I knew that it was clean. I did not have to worry about getting a shadow of the word than on my speech bubble. I need to remember this for myself as well, because I throw away more often than not. And that's a lot of times why I will cut my stamps apart, because it's just frustrating when you almost done with a split image or a split sentiment, and then you get that shadow and you're like, well, now I got to start over again. Yeah. So it's just a hot tip. Just one of those things that, even I forget. But when I do it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Work smarter, not harder. Sometimes I forget. Okay, a lot of times I forget. Anyways, so that was all I needed to do to finish up the sentiment for this one. Just clip off that little piece that's hanging over there. And then I will add in some embellishments from Trinity Stamps. I love their embellishments. What can I say? I might be an embellishment hoarder of all the embellishment things. Okay, I only have one. Oh wait. Okay, I have one large drawer of my currently used embellishments, and then I probably have a couple of baskets of embellishments that I'll get to someday. I should probably start making more shaker cards. Use up a few of those things, possibly. We'll see. So I am just doing the rule of threes. And I think I actually did 3 sizes on each thing of 3 on that one. So it's all good. It was fast and simple. That's what I was going for. Not too thought out process. And so most of these are very similar in style. different pattern papers, a little bit different layouts, and all of them have different snarky style sentiments. Feel free to read them at your own risk. The little hearts here were from Trinity Stamps as well. They're like little clay heart embellishments. I have their red ones, their black ones, which I absolutely love. And I think I have them in their coffee colored ones. I think, the chocolate ones. And as you can tell, all of the stamped images, or all of the colored images, look a little bit different. I like to just play with, different coloring mediums and work on different, see which ones I like better. Some I liked better than others, but all of them were pretty good. And so there are all of those grumpy, snarky cards for you. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you like, subscribe, and